Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuffin' Things. This is my first saying goodbye card. It is going to be a birthday card for my sister-in-law. I'm not sure if she will be watching this video, but I don't think it'll be too much of a cheat for her. She won't see it in advance. And it is a Twist and Pop fun fold card that I got more than an inspiration for. Here at the Great Outdoors, there are card making classes twice a month with two very nice ladies who both asked to remain anonymous. And part of the reason is that they create these cards using inspiration from various sources, and they didn't have their sources available for me to have. So I've gone ahead and gone online. I have seen a whole bunch of different Twist and Pop style cards. I created my own layout and my own design, but I did get the dimensions and the mechanism that I'm going to share building with you today from one of the two very nice ladies that come into the park. And should they decide, because I will be attending their classes all summer, that it's okay that I give them their name, I will do that. But in the meantime, this was inspired by one of the very lovely projects that we did. It is a card that has a bunch of measurements and cuts. I have done some pre-cutting to kind of shortcut the time that we're going to spend on this, so that it doesn't take forever. And the main focal elements of the card, as well as the mechanism, minus whatever matting that you might want to have, comes from one full sheet of 8.5 by 11. So I have a sheet of 8.5 by 11 here, and it gets cut into two 3-inch long strips. The top strip that is left over after you cut your 2 3s is a 2.5-inch strip, and it gets then chopped down to be 4 1 3/4-inch wide strips. And then your scrap left over will be basically, I cut it into 2, but it will basically be 1 4-inch strip of leftover. So I've gone ahead and cut this 2.5-inch into its 4 pieces. I'm not sharing the card with you yet because I want to have a nice reveal at the end. I have the 3-inch long strips that will then be trimmed down to, one will be trimmed down to 9 inches and the other trimmed down to 8. I have my trusty large Carl cutter. You can use the Stampin' trimmer, whatever trimmer you have. So I'm going to cut a 9, and then I'm going to cut down an 8. One of these lengths, the longer length, is going to end up being your focal display with 4 panels. And the 8-inch piece is going to become what I call the twist mechanism. I do have for today a tiny score tool, because the large scoreboard I do have from Stampin' Up, which can also be used, just will not fit on my table for you to be able to see it. So we are working on the cuts, the angles that we need for the 8-inch, which is you score diagonally lengthwise at 1.5. And then with a pencil, you are going to use a ruler, and you are going to mark at, you need a 3-inch in the center mark, which leaves 2.5 inches on each side. So you're going to make little pencil marks at 2.5 and 5.5. Rotate it around and do the same on the other side. And I am sorry, I can move this up so you can actually see it. You won't be able to see my little cheat sheet. Maybe I will move it. Good little reference. Okay, so with a ruler, you will mark with a pencil at 2.5 and at 5.5. So now you have scored down the middle and you have your little tick marks. And X marks the spot. You are going to go ahead and score your X. That's the trickiest part, I would say, is making sure to line up it. However you want it to line up, you need to have the start probably somewhere over on the right side of your board. You are going to start and finish on the same line. And if you need to, grab a ruler. We'll grab my T-square. And if you want to, you could just do this off of the, you don't need to do it on the scoreboard. You can just take your ruler or T, mark your line, do the same thing for the other way. Mark your line, X marks the spot, and now I'm going to go ahead and score. You will be folding this. In such a way that you will want it to fold either way. So I don't believe, and someone can correct me if I am wrong, that there's a preferred front or back. Okay, so your mechanism has a little bit of wiggle room, but you can see here that I got a little off track. I was not on the square or on the line all the way down. This one is perfect. Okay, so that's fine. This is the mechanism that people will not see, so I think there is a little more breathing room. So X marks the spot. I am not the best at fun folds, so if you see anything I'm doing here that you think could be done better, just feel free to let me know your thoughts. All right, so the back is the bumpy side, the front is the scored side. I'm going to set that aside because now I want to take my 9-inch piece, and here's my diagram for the 9-inch piece, saying that I want to do 2 1/4 on either side with valleys, and then I am going to show you that I flip the paper over, and the center of the 8-inch, which is going to be at, or 9 inches, which is going to be at 4.5, will be what I call the mountain. So I will demonstrate for you. 2 1/4, rotate 2 1/4, flip, 4.5. So we now have our 4-panel pop, which is the pop part. I am now going ahead and folding the pieces. I would highly recommend, to make sure they're nice and crisp, that you either fold in chunks. I have now folded the whole thing. Make sure they all line up very well, and then take your bone folder and really crease those folds so they are super crisp. All right, so here we have our tent and our 2 end pieces. Now I am going to play here with the X marks the spot mechanism that we are creating. And I am actually folding both ways. I am folding the center both ways. I noticed my center wasn't truly centered, but now that I am going ahead and folding it, I am going to sort of force it to be in the center using my bone folder. I'm going to then go the other way. Again, there's a little bit of wiggle room, and you can really precisely line it up along the length, and then score it, or not score it, fold it, and press the bone folder, which will crease it and make it nice and crisp. And then your goal is to actually fold it, folding it in so that it looks like sort of like an arrow. This is the fold for the mechanism per my diagram right here. So go ahead and crease this down. And there she is. I'm going to grab tear and tape, which is right behind me. You'll see my little diagram shows where tear and tape is to be applied. So now I'm going to apply it and leave the adhesive along the top. So I have one piece here. You can either do 2 pieces, you can make it 3 pieces, triangular shaped, however you want. Oops. Sorry about that. All right, you place this on both sides. I am not going to put it on the second side, but I will show you what it looks like finished on the one side. That was the tear and tape applied to the triangle part. Now you're going to flip, and you are going to, you can either choose to apply the tear and tape to the top and the bottom. It needs to not go any wider than the 2.5 inch pieces. So I actually believe that you could most safely, if you want to have your mechanism hold your tape, just make sure that it is, I'm measuring that the piece that I just tore is less than the width, and I'm going all the way to the edge, because when you apply I'll call it the tent to the base, you will do it to the very edge, and I actually will demonstrate this for you. So I am applying, I can move this away now, the tear and tape to the opposite sides. That is the key to how this works. And now the magic will happen. I am going to peel off these 2 ends. I will then carefully place the one side. I do recommend that you have your top piece here already decorated, but for demonstration purposes I didn't want to spend the time to decorate. And you will want to line it up nicely, and then the other half will line up to the very edge as well. Alright, are you ready for this? We have our tent. Did you see that? Folded horizontally inside the arrow, spanning both sides because the middle is open, is our cool design. So when you open it, it opens like that. So now I have an example of a perfect pop, twist and pop. So this is the twist and pop, the inside of the card. Let me grab a card. This card is my Father's Day card. I haven't shared it with anybody yet. Here it is. It uses the new Waves of Inspiration. And I am going to pretend that the inside of this card is going to get this lovely twist and pop mechanism put in it. And how you do that, both triangles will have tear and tape. And the best way it was explained to me that worked perfectly is that the tip of the triangle is centered, and you want to give it a tiny bit of breathing room. You do not want to shove it all the way up to the edge. Make sure that your card can fold. So you've now adhered it to the base of your card. Peel off the tear and tape on this triangle, fold your card down, press, 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 and when you open it, it will magically open and do the twist and pop. And now I will reveal my lovely card for my sister-in-law. It is using, before I share it, here are the products today. They are retiring at the end of June. We have Seize the Day. Sorry about the ring of light. Seize the Day retires the end of June and is available while supplies last. And it has the stamps as well as the dies. I bought the bundle. And you will see these dies at work. For the sentiment, it was a birthday card, so I actually chose, I wanted to do multiple sentiments, you'll see why. So I chose Today's All About You, I chose Happy Birthday, and I needed one more very short sentiment, so I grabbed from, not from Friends Are Like Seashells, I do not see it here. I'm gonna pause and be right back with the card, or with the sentiment. Alright, I am back. I chose the Congrats from Hydrangea Haven, which is not retiring, it is carrying over. The incorrect set here, Friends Are Like Seashells, is also carrying over. Both are in the annual catalog. So here is my finished card. I'm going to pull away my cheat notes. And I popped up all of these little elements, the two fishies, the jellyfish, the crab, the starfish, and back here is our octopus peeking out. I have the pebbles, which are also retiring, so we're saying goodbye to those. And then I have these beautiful faceted, like a rose cut clear gem. Those are not retiring. The bubbles back here are brushed silver, and then I did sneak in some soft seafoam and evening evergreen kelp and seaweed, which are die cuts from this set. And here is the twist and pop, just like that. So I went ahead and decorated the 4 panels. Here's the Congrats from Hydrangea Haven, and there's the Happy Birthday that coordinates by font with the front, which is Expressions of Friendship. And I have went ahead and used the new Pretty Prints in Bermuda Bay on the very front for the water, which you'll see I stamped some kelp back there for some added interest. And then I also added the full piece to the front, or to the inside, and then I cut a 3-inch square for the message that you get to type. And the fishies were colored with Parakeet Party and Starry Sky. I did lots of coloring on these fish. When I stamped them, I didn't do the best job, so they actually are Parakeet Party blends to get him to be the color I wanted, as well as using Starry Sky, the Stampin' Right marker. You know, I always ask myself, do I need the Stampin' Right marker in the coordinating colors? And, you know, every year you have new in colors, and so far every year, or every year you have a new set. They last for 2 years. And I get the Stampin' Right markers, and every time I start to think I'm not going to need them, oh, they're replaced by something else, I always go back to needing to use them. So definitely, as a colorist, I want to have all of my tools available to me, and I am really glad that I did get the Stampin' Right markers, because I used both the Parakeet Party and the Starry Sky playing with these fish to really make them into a very cute scene. The bubbles, I wanted to be soft. The bubbles do come with the set, the Seize the Day set, and I used Highland Heather, and that is also the color that I used for this jellyfish. Another part to the jellyfish that you can't see is Wink of Stella, which is another wonderful tool. And the inside does not have any embellishing done, although I did use sand, and the sand, that is why I had Friends Are Like Seashells out. Yes. Okay, so there's this wonderful, just very small dotted sand stamp, and that is why I left this out, was because that is what I used, and I did that in crumb cake, and the octopus, I believe, is in soft suede. Alright, so here we go, closing the mechanism, and when you put it on, it really works very nice, and it feels nice. I just love the effect. Now, I have to mail all of my cards, so I'm going to put a caveat here at the end that this card is going to require that I put extra postage on it. It will be too fat. It is lumpy and bumpy, as well as being too fat, so postage for this is probably, which I haven't actually verified, but I believe it's around $5.50. There's a substantial jump. It is not okay if you are too fat and lumpy and bumpy to just add an extra 1 ounce stamp. Some people do, and it is a risk. I have been told I could just ship it like it is, but officially it does not fit through the jig, so I need to up the postage to the $5.50. So if you are at all not sure what your postage is going to be because you have to mail a fancy card like this, just go to the counter at the USPS and they are happy to tell you what it is going to cost. Now, hopefully I have very clearly illustrated the steps to make the twist and pop. I will take a picture of this with the different dimensions and will include that on the video. I will also add this. I can take a picture of this and I will add it to the blog article as well, which will include all of the supplies used. And sadly, if you are coming to see this after the end of June, the Seize the Day products will be gone, as well as the pebbles. And for this particular card, you might be asking yourself about the trim. I just thought it was plenty busy enough, and it didn't need any trim pieces. You could add linen, you could add some frayed linen pieces in a knot or a bow. I think it's a great masculine card or a feminine card. I did pick neutral colors for this. I actually intended this to be a Father's Day card, but then when Hub saw the projects that I had made, Libby and I crafted together, and this was one of our projects, and he pretty much stole it to give to his sister. He likes to give her fun cards. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them here on the video or over on my blog, which I will have an article for. I will also be showcasing with some more videos cards that I made while I was ill that are saying goodbye to the January through June mini. I am also working on, I did place my pre-order for the holiday catalog. I cannot believe that I'm here in June trying to think about the holidays. But I have my Winter is Coming Wednesday series that I will be upping to once a week starting in July. So I will probably delay my Winter is Coming Wednesday until I get my order, which definitely will not be this week. It will be sometime next week. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.